Welcome back, everybody. Chris Scott here on the mic. This is Dinger for 3, and I am with Warriors of Wrestling wrestler Tony Booze, real name Anthony. What's going on, Ant?
Hey, Chris, what's going on, dude? Thank you for having me, man. This is sick. This is pretty awesome.
Of course, you are absolutely on fire in 2018, and you will be wrestling for Chris Steeler's Warriors of Wrestling World Championship December 1st at the 11th anniversary show. You know, that's... And what are you, 19? You're about to turn 20?
Yep.
That's such a huge opportunity for someone that's so young. So I had to get you on. I have to learn more about you. The Warrior Nation wants to learn more about you. So let's get started. Bring it way back to the beginning of Anthony. What got you into wrestling?
So, for the most part, I mean, wrestling was never on, like, my mindset growing up. I knew about it. My friends watched it. I didn't really watch it. But I like sports, so I wanted to do something physical contact, whether it be football or anything physical contact, really. Football was the main focus because I figured high school football, maybe. Okay. But I also enjoyed acting. Ah. So in middle school and high school, even in elementary school, I performed in a few plays. Like I was the skunk from Peter Pan in 3rd grade. I was one of the Nutcrackers, like part of the Nutcracker Army. I was one of the soldiers for that in 5th grade. I was Bob Cratchit in A Christmas Carol in high school, like Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet. Like, I loved acting. I loved being on stage in front of people. So around 2011, 2012, I started, actually, a friend of my mom's was at the house, and we were all hanging out, and he put on, USA, and he was like, hey, like, you ever watch it? I'm like, no, like, I've always heard about it, and I don't know the first match, but all I know is I saw something really cool, and... like that, just stuck. And by next Monday, I was like, well, that's John Cena, and that's Randy Orton, and that's Jeff Hardy, or like that's this guy, and like this is where he came from. Like I Wikipedia'd a bunch of stuff. Like I wanted to learn. And yeah, that's where the love grew. And I figured, you know what, like there's a mix of physical contact and there's a mix of acting. Both things I really enjoy. Why not do that? Because if it wasn't for wrestling, I don't know what I'd be doing.
My high school days, I played football. I was involved with acting as well.
Really?
I did some school plays. I always had interest in that. I mainly loved baseball, but I didn't make the baseball team in high school. So I played football for a couple years, and then eventually I got into the whole acting stuff. So wrestling is kind of something that I enjoy watching. I get it. It's cool. And you're one of my favorite guys to watch in the ring.
Dude,
I think
I've
seen you grown over the past year, much like a lot of the Warrior Nation has.
Thank you.
So now let's talk about the character that is Tony Booze, because I've seen it grown over time. Now it's the Brooklyn Bulldog. You're really buying into that. What was it exactly that came to made you make that decision of, okay, this is my character? Or how'd you get there? I want to move this up a little bit.
Sorry?
It's okay.
Cool.
It's not your fault. It just
so the Brooklyn Bulldog, I mean, I love my hometown.
Okay.
I love dogs. And I was thinking of...
Who doesn't like dogs?
I was thinking of like a dog that, that's so cute, even though like a lot of people consider it ugly.
Okay.
I consider myself sort of that somewhat.
You consider yourself cute but ugly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It just... Someone had mentioned it in the locker room. I was trying to figure out things because the plug wasn't working. That was the moniker for a little bit, was the plug Tony Booze, and that wasn't working. Granted, that's still my nickname, like with the guys in the locker room and stuff.
So plug actually was part of what your wrestling name was
yeah.
going to be. Okay.
That's a funny story that we can get into after this.
We definitely will.
Because I love telling that story. But so I was just like, and like I'm this underdog character, and I'm a scrappy kid from Brooklyn. When I'm not shaving, I have some scruff on my face. Okay. So you know what? I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You give me one punch, I don't mind giving you two back. And even if that means your one punch could knock me out, doesn't matter. I'm gonna fight back. So that's how the Brooklyn Bulldog came to be, sort of.
Okay, now plug. Everyone calls you plug in the Warrior locker room. Many people probably don't know that in the Warrior Nation, in the crowd, but why plug?
So here's the start of this. So I started training at Warriors December 10th of 2015. Now, I was brand new, and I had the mindset of, I'm going to do what I'm told. Whatever they want me to do, I'm going to do. I'm grateful to be there. That was the mindset. Yeah, so I'm laying down one night after training for maybe like 2 weeks, and I had the name Tony Booze in my head, and that's another thing we can get into. And where I'm laying down, it's like midnight, and I get a message from Jay George. And Jay George's like, I found your gimmick. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, let's see what this is. Like, what's up, Jay George? Your ring name is going to be Gino the Plug Pepino. And instantaneously, my heart dropped. I was like, Gino Pepino. I was like, oh no. I was like, this is wonderful. But he brought it up to like Jake, and he brought it up to Joe, and they looked at him, and like he brought it up to other people, and they just looked at him like, no, like that's not the ring name. Like thank God it wasn't the ring name. It sounds like
he just thought of, all right, you're gonna be Gino Pepperoni. I got it. We're just gonna replace where the letters are. Pepino, not pepperoni. That's what it seems like. But go on.
I don't know. It was supposed to be like the plug. The plug was like the person who had the inside scoop on things. And I
know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they were going off. I'm a Brooklyn Italian native, whatever. And that's what I was gonna go off. I got the scoop on this guy. Give me this, whatever. That was supposed to be. And I actually cut a promo as that character once. And I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. But I'm pretty happy that, Tony Booze stayed. And the plug part, it just kind of stuck.
Okay.
So that just kind of stuck. But that's the origin of the plug.
Okay. I had a feeling, it was like, is it supposed to be like the plug who knows a guy? I don't see it, though. Like, what is it? Is it supposed to be like a plug, like you're plugging something in? Or I don't know why. Who knows? Okay. So now, Tony Booze, how'd you come up with that? I would imagine that Tony came from Anthony.
Yes.
Okay.
So, real talk.
Real talk. Okay.
Before I started wrestling, me and I don't know where he is right now, but Jason Sinclair actually.
Okay.
A long time ago, before we started wrestling, when I actually liked the guy, we were hanging around his house, and we were big wrestling fans, and we broke in together, and the Warrior Nation knows this. But we used to cut wrestling promos because that's all we could do. We didn't know the in-ring stuff.
Okay.
But all we can do is talk. And we were sitting down and we were talking, and I couldn't think of anything. I had something, but I didn't like it, and it sounded cheesy. And he came up, he's like, how about Tony Booze? And I was like, sure. And it stuck with me. And that's just what I figured it'd be, And I guess it stuck enough, and it was liked, and it was okay. So that's where it came from. So I got to give him that credit.
Okay. But you haven't seen him or no?
No idea.
No idea where he is?
No idea. Last I heard, he got hurt.
Yeah.
And he was on injury. I don't know where he's been, though.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So let's talk about wrestlers that have influenced your character.
There's a lot.
A lot? That's okay. We got time.
Guys like...
And if you have like specific reasons why, like this guy influenced me this way, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So guys like Tommy Dreamer, guys like Samoa Joe.
If that keeps leaning down, you can just push it back.
No, I don't want to grab my phone and look at the phone. That is I don't like doing that. That's disrespectful. But guys like Tommy Dreamer, guys like Dean Ambrose, guys like Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, big influences. John Cena is another one.
What was it about Tommy Dreamer that you like?
Tommy Dreamer is the ultimate underdog. That dude would get beat into a pulp, but he would somehow manage to get right back up on his feet without any help and go to the back on his own, whether you won or lost. He could probably get shot and walk after the match, and he'd be fine. He's that ultimate underdog. His like facial expressions when he sells his promos, how in depth he goes, and how like you feel for him, you get the sympathy from him. Stuff like that. Just really, that's where I try to get all of my underdog stuff from. I look at him. Guys like Dean Ambrose, I look at for intensity, for facial expressions, because Dean Ambrose is one of a kind. No one is ever going to replicate Dean Ambrose. A lot of his stuff from CZW I used to like to watch, his promos from CZW. Steen and Owens, or Owens and Samoa Joe, really because of their size and how athletic they were at their size. Because I have some insecurities, and that was one of my insecurities, was my size, how I looked, and watching those guys pull off incredible things of like you wouldn't expect, like that. Just like that inspires me. That gives me hope for someone. Not that I don't want to train my body and try to get better, but that still gives me that like ounce of hope that like, hey, like these guys can do it. They're not that like standard WWE style look, or like they're not that standard like athletic performer look, but these dudes pull off some incredible things. Like, think twice before you look at them, And also I forgot to mention Steve Austin, because who doesn't love Steve Austin?
Cold.
So Who doesn't love Steve Austin?
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
This is so annoying.
I don't know why he keeps doing that.
It's because it's like heavy. I just keep looking. I was like, it's falling.
Oh,
It's falling. It's falling. It's not your fault at all. It's my equipment. I apologize
You
for that.
stay there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you've lost a lot of weight. I could tell over the last year. So you mentioned the whole, body insecurity stuff, but I've seen that you've been putting the work in and, working on the body. And we were watching an NXT match before, and you were commenting saying, "Oh, I didn't realize how good of a body that wrestler specifically had," because that's part of the business. It's not just about, do you have charisma? Mm-hmm. Can you do the moves? You got to look the part too, right? So what was it that clicked in your head that you just decided, I'm gonna do this? I'm gonna start chiseling away.
I wouldn't call it chiseling just yet. Numerous times at training, Jake goes over. I can use his real name, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jake goes over. For those of you who don't know, Jake is Logan Black.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always say, like, he would always tell us, like, look, like, or at least to me sometimes, he'd be like, look, like, I see you're improving. Like, you need, the two things that were always told to me is, like, you need to get gear, like wrestling gear, rather than just the black singlet, and you need to start going to the gym. And you think about it, and, I was at first, like, I'm there almost 3 years now, and, it took me a long time before I clicked in my head. I was like, I need to start doing more. I can't stay at this level. I can't stay stagnant. Because if I only go to training twice a week and I don't put any work outside of training, then you know what? There's really no chance. You look at guys on TV, you know what they're looking for right now, And regardless of, like, because no one can replicate Kevin Owens or no one can replicate Samoa Joe. Those are one of a kinds, and, like, people like to use that excuse. Well, if they can do it, I can do that too. It's like, absolutely not. Granted, impress me, impress anyone. If you can be another Kevin Owens, go right ahead. But I want to be the first Tony Booze. You know what I'm saying? So if that means I need to put in extra work and I need to start cutting and I need to start looking better, I'm gonna do that. And it was just numerous talks from, like, guys in the locker room and, like, my own trainers. And even friends, like, dude, like, you want to do this, you got to look like this, And it started to click, and I was in a bad place. Like, my head wasn't right. Like I said, I have my insecurities, and, I just wanted to get in better shape. So that was kind of the spark.
What were kind of the specifics that you changed? Was it diet, exercise? What'd you do?
Well, I got a workout plan from Jake. He gave me a few things that I could start working with. Diet, I completely cut out any soda. No soda is good. You shouldn't drink soda. But I really focused on drinking a lot more water. Eating wise, I try to, substitute a candy bar for a protein bar, or substitute a candy bar for a protein cookie, whether it be, high in protein or higher in whatever it is. Just substitute it for something healthier.
Speaking of which, I think Lenny and Larry's.
Oh my God,
those are so good.
They're great, dude.
They do not sponsor this, by the way. We just like
yeah, no, they're amazing. You ever had the sugar cookie one?
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
sugar cookie. You know what I don't like though? I don't like the rainbow cookie one.
I never had that one.
Snickerdoodle may be the best one.
That was another one.
Snickerdoodle.
I don't really like the chocolate chip one.
It's weird.
This whole podcast is going to be now about Larry and Lenny's cookies. But no. So you substitute certain things. You eat your dinner, you eat your breakfast, you eat stuff like that. As long as you know that you're putting in more, you have to put out more than you put in, I think, is what they say. I don't know. I'm no fitness guru. I just try to do the right thing by it. I just try to eat while I watch what I eat.
Whatever you're doing, it's working. So yeah. You keep it up. Like I changed my diet up a bit. I've dropped a little over 50 pounds now from a year ago. I turned to a vegan diet, and it's all about what you put into your body. It felt like I wasn't even trying. I was just replacing what I was eating. Yeah. But you're also going to the gym too, which is what you got to do in this industry, and you're starting at such a young age. So guys like Chris Romano, Joey B, when I was doing the interviews with them, I was talking to them about what do you think about the future Warriors, yada, yada, yada. And they were so proud of the younger guys at Warriors, and you're part of that group. They talked about Chris Bennett, they talked about you, they mentioned guys like Justin Adams, he's there, and some other guys, and you're just part of that core group of young guys at Warriors. As far as what your plans are with wrestling, right? Have you ever thought about how long you're going to be doing this for? Is this a long-term thing for you, or is this just something you're doing for now? What is it?
Wrestling is going to be my long-term thing.
Okay.
I only try to see success. You try never to think of failure. And if you only think of failure, then you know what? You're not going to do anything then because you're going to be stuck in failure. My goal is TV. My goal is WWE. And I will do anything. I will do what it takes. You know, I that's what I need to do. You know, I just think like of people who you know go to work that 9-to-5 job and they're miserable their whole life. Like I don't want to do that. You know, wherever it is, I just want to make it somewhat. And also, success is what you make of it. You know, I'm really happy right now. I really feel like I am living my dream right now. Whether it be on TV or not, like I'm living my dream. I'm able to do this, and like I'm doing it, and supposedly I'm doing it well. I don't think I'm doing it well, but but other people think I do it okay. So you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ride it out. And you know what? Even if I don't make it to TV, you know, I can turn back and be like, well, you know what? I lived out my dream. I did what I had to do. I tried my hardest. You know, I gave it the good old college try, and you know, that's just it. But the long term, it's going to be long term.
I was doing some research online for the Warrior show tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
I think a little goal for you to do, get on these databases.
Yes.
Get on them, you know, get on these, the Fandom was one of them. I think Cage Seating Match, something like that was one of them. Get on there. Get your name out there, man.
That's the goal.
But so you've been wrestling since 2015. Yes. It took you about a year before you were on the card?
So I started on the card as a referee.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't remember the first match I reffed. But I started out as a referee, and then eventually I got to pre-show, and then I was on main show. But it was around, I know, March was my very first match at a student show. The month after, I don't think I was on the pre-show. It took maybe about a little bit of time. Maybe not March, maybe like June, maybe I was on pre-show, or maybe before that, maybe May. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I have to look back. I just remember the match was me and El Muskie versus Atticus Bolt and Jason Sinclair at the time. That was my very first match on the pre-show. So if any of the Warrior Nation remembers when that was, please let me know, because I don't. But yeah.
Let's talk about top moments in your career thus far. Like, what are some of one of the main ones that come to mind? Like your favorite matches, big moments in your career, you know.
So one thing that comes to mind, big moment was wrestling at the Frankie Getz Memorial Show back in February, and I got to team with actually someone you interviewed. I got to team with Romano against Abdul Nasir.
Yep.
And the reason why that's so special to me is because, you know, of the circumstance and like.
You're Frankie's tag team partner.
You know, and like being there, that was really special to do that. You know, and like the cause behind it, like we raised, I think, a little bit over $8,000 for his wife and kids, and like we did very well for it, and like you know, thank God, like all the officers were there, everybody. It was really nice. That was one of my top moments. Recently, the victory over Carter is another one. After so long of, you know, battling it out with the dude. I came up. I finally got that shot. Now I am. Now on to December where I take that title. There's no stopping me. Steeler needs to do whatever. He's going to have to do something to kill me because there's nothing that's stopping me from taking that title.
Okay.
Hell and high water, I will take that title. That is a guarantee.
Okay.
But yeah.
So we'll talk about your opponent, Chris Steeler, for the 11th anniversary show. Doing any scouting, anything pointing out to you?
Tape studying. Watching previous matches of his, knowing what he does, knowing the ins and outs of what he tries to do with people, listening to other guys maybe, trying to see what they're picking up on of him. I'm doing whatever it takes to know about the dude so I can get to him. He's been around for a long time. He knows the ins and outs. He's been with Warriors for much longer than I have, but no matter what it is, no matter who it is in that ring, it could have been Carter with the title. I don't care. Anybody who has that title, I'm getting this shot. I'm not letting it down. The Warrior Nation's been behind me for too long. I've been putting in too much work. It's time. It is time now, and I'm taking that title no matter what. It could have been you, Chris Scott. You could have been the champion. I'm taking it from you. I'm sorry. But yeah, a lot of tape studying, a lot of watching what he does, knowing how to get out of his stuff. Can't give away all the secrets.
Gotcha. I know exactly. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Because, of course, he's watching the tape, too.
Yeah.
He has to take you seriously as an opponent.
He probably doesn't, though. Yeah. And like most, I mean, Carter didn't, and look what happened. So you know what? If they say it's true, history repeats itself. I mean, you want to underestimate me? Go right ahead. Because I'm gonna come up the winner this time. Again, I'll come up the winner again.
Let's talk about advice for younger wrestlers, or not necessarily younger wrestlers, but in the beginning of their careers. Like they're either thinking about joining, or they're in, but they're just not breaking out. What is some advice you can give a wrestler who just started out, who just began training?
So someone who's absolutely brand new, what I do is I take things that I've heard from Jake and Joe, and I pass it over to them, because granted, that's what they're going to hear from Jake and Joe, and you know what? Sometimes I just feel like it's the right thing to do, because I was helped out so early from everyone that was there at the time. I was helped out so quickly, and like people gave me the advice right away. And the biggest thing for anyone who's starting out is two things to me. It's just because you watch it on TV doesn't mean you can do it. And when you get in there finally, and you're finally there, never forget that feeling of your first time being in there. Because once you forget that feeling, you should stop. Okay. And the third one is keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your mouth shut. You take any feedback, you take any criticism, and you swallow it and you work on it. So those are the three things that stick out to me, that were told to me, that like I would tell on to someone else who's like brand new or trying to break in. Also, don't be afraid to break in. No matter what you look like, no matter your size, no matter your height, don't ever be afraid to try. If you try, you can say you tried, and you know what? That's all that matters then. Never be afraid to try something new. Just go in there with the right attitude, the right mindset, and you know what? There you go.
I remember when I tried out. I did that, and I got blown up in terms of the cardio, because I'm just not in the best of shape.
It's fine.
It's obvious, but I mean, I've lost weight since then. The reason why I wasn't going to do it, though, I was like, I'm going to do this, but I was like, you know what? I can't do it. Just because if you really want something, you're going to make time for it.
Yes.
And you got to be very committed.
Yes.
In order to have success as a wrestler, especially at Warriors of Wrestling. It's a huge competition. There's a lot of different wrestlers. There's a lot of guys going in and out. If you want to get on that card, you want to win that belt, you got to go all out. You got to go to the gym. You got to have the diet. You get time commitment. You got to go to training. You got to do all that.
Yep.
I have too many things going on. It's just to incorporate wrestling into that too. It wasn't going to happen. But I totally respect the hell out of the people that do make it happen. I've seen the work that you've had to put in. I've seen the work that guys like Steeler have had to put in. He's won the belt. Guys like Carl, who just celebrated a great career, just came to an end recently. Juba, past champion. Hey, listen, maybe you'll get there. Maybe you'll be the champion. You say you're going to do it.
December 1st.
December 1st. You say December 1st is going to be the moment where Tony Booze is crowned the champion.
Yes, sir.
All right. Outside of guys like Logan Black and Joe, what other wrestlers in the locker room, veterans, kind of influenced you?
Jason Karloff. He's one of my biggest influences there, who have helped me out since day one, actually. Okay. He was actually there on my first day of training. Oh, okay. Because it was right before their 8-year anniversary show. So he's a big influence. I want to say somebody else, but I don't know if I can. Okay. Not because it's the guy who used to train me, but it's not him.
Hey, look, if you don't want to say it, don't say it.
Yeah, he knows who he is if he watches and he listens to it. But he's another one that I look up to highly. He's probably one of the best heels in the business. And that's kind of a little bit like a spark note there. I got you. So I think you know who it is. I don't know if the people will catch on, but he's another big one that I like to talk to and get feedback from, criticism. Okay. Guys like Justin F. and Jason Carrion, I like to talk to a lot also.
4-time champion, Carrion.
Yeah. So these guys know what they're doing, and they're successful on it. Someone like Jake, Logan Black, has been across seas now. He just wrestled in England. Jason Carrion wrestles in England. Carlos been everywhere. Justin F is starting to be everywhere. And honestly, it's I like to get advice from everyone. So anyone who's willing to give me feedback and give me critiques, it matters to me, because if they see something that someone else doesn't, then that's a benefit to me. And if they see like, maybe you should say this word this way, and like those little things matter, not that to say that that's that specific where it's like you need to change the way you say a word, but like no matter anybody, whoever you are, experienced, non-experienced, just it matters to me. Feedback matters to me, because, and when I say non-experienced, I mean like fans' perspective matters. You know, we're there to perform for them. So you know what? If they think something's boring, you know, maybe I got to change up something. You know, so that it matters. Any amount of feedback, I'm grateful for any sort of feedback. A commentator's feedback as well. If there was anything that you've ever saw that you can tell me, I'm gonna listen because maybe I do need to change it, or maybe I should work on it a little bit differently. You know, I'm all ears for anyone, honestly. But the guys that I definitely like to go to and get the feedback on my matches, critique on my promos, Logan Black, Joe, Jason Carrion, Jason Karloff, the other guy that I'm not going to say, and yeah, Just Neff is another one. Besides all the fellow students at the training center as well. Any feedback I love.
Yeah, a repetitive theme from these interviews that I'm getting from the series of wrestlers is Warriors is very. There's a lot of guys that want to help you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that want to make you grow. It's not much of an ego around there.
Absolutely not.
So that it's good that everyone's looking to make each other better because it makes a better product at the end of the day. So that's always good to hear. How about Warriors is always bringing in, you know, past WWE superstars, legends, and all those type of guys, or just people in the wrestling industry from the past. Have you got any advice, or have you met any of these type of wrestlers and these famous guys, and what have you learned from them?
So we've had quite a few people. I think Matt Stryker is somebody that I liked when he came and he did a seminar with us, and he was wrestled on one of the shows. I think he wrestled Sonny. But he was someone that was really cool to speak to. We recently had Mike Quackenbush, and he was someone really cool to talk to about it. I really enjoyed his seminars because he did two, actually. His second one was recently. But a lot of I can pull a lot from that one because I remember that one the most because it was the most recent. But guys like what is it? I just said Matt Stryker. We had Raven, Al Snow, Billy Gunn. You know, those guys were some of the people that I learned from. And any of the guys that we brought in so many people. I can't remember all the names, but I always go up to them and I always ask them to see. Ricky Steamboat is another one that we just had recently that I talked to. And Norman Smiley I'd spoken to also after my match in Brooklyn. So people like that, I always ask them to see if they can watch it, if they have the time to watch it. And, you know, I always try to go to them and get the feedback right away, you know, after the match, which we'll go right back out there and see what they have to say about it, you know, because those guys have made it. They're on TV, you know, they were on TV or they are on TV currently, you know. Also, you know, someone I forgot to mention prior, like the veterans in the locker room that you mentioned before. Sonny Kiss is another one that I like to talk to. Sonny Kiss is probably
Exolicious.
Yes, and that's just it though. He's someone who's on TV, who's in the locker room consistently.
Yeah, Lucha Underground.
Exactly. So he knows what they're looking for on that, which gives me like an in to know what I need to do to be on that, you know. So he's somebody else, you know. But any of the guys that we bring in, right away, hey man, how are you, Anthony? If you have the time tonight, this match, I'm versing this person. Can you please give me any critiques? A cool experience with that though, if I can get into it, if that's okay. We had D'Lo Brown there and Ron Simmons, and this was actually my very first match as a singles performer because Frankie had just passed away. This was the show before the memorial show, I believe. And it was me versus Isaiah Wolf for the No Limits Championship. And I remember me and him had asked the guys for advice, Ron Simmons and D'Lo. Mm-hmm. And you know, we had our match, and me and Isaiah Wolf went to the back, and, you know, we were changing up, and all of a sudden, D'Lo Brown and Ron Simmons come in, and they're like, dude, that was, like, really good. Like, we really enjoyed it. You know, they hated you, they loved you, and we just got a lot of really positive feedback from them, which was that's another moment that I could say was really, like, heartwarming. One of my favorite moments was that those guys didn't have to come to the back. They didn't even have to watch. But they did, and they thought it was that good that they came back to the locker room to tell me and my opponent that they loved it that much. And that was really inspiring to me. So that was another one of those top moments and the guys that I like to get feedback from. So, yeah. I hope that answered the question.
It did. You're doing great. You sound like you're nervous. You're good, man. You keep it up. You're doing fine. Let's talk about the landscape of wrestling now. The internet is blowing up. some other promotions outside of WWE. WWE is still the monopoly. It is the mother lord. It is the gigantic ship in Independence Day that is over the earth, and no one's stopping it. There's no Will Smith to take it down. But you say your goal is to get to WWE, which is obviously that has to be if you're in this industry, because they are the top. Do you watch the other products, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and all the other ones?
Study from everywhere.
Yep.
You study from everywhere. You watch people who are better than you, who are making money off of this. You watch. It's hard to watch with all the stuff out there, but whatever I can catch, I watch and I observe, and I question it, because you have to question it. What are they doing right? What could I do to be doing what they're doing right now? How is their diet plan? How is their workout thing? I think recently Mike Kanellis put out something on Twitter. It was one of his workout routines, and that's something that you look at. You look at all the Twitters and stuff like that, because that's a big thing. Also, I don't use it that much. I don't know. It's not my favorite one. I usually just stick to Instagram and Facebook, and even the Facebook one I don't really stick with, because I have my real life page, and then I have my my Brooklyn Bulldog Tony Booze page, and I barely update the Brooklyn Bulldog Tony Booze page, because I have a lot of the people who are following that on my real page. So it's and really there's no difference between Tony Booze and Anthony Page. I am who I am inside and outside the ring. So I don't mind having people on that, but you watch from anywhere and everywhere: Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK now, the Mae Young Classic, the Cruiserweight Classic. You just watch from everywhere, because in order to get better, you have to watch everything. You can't stick with just what you see, because wrestling this is expression that is used a lot. Wrestling is different flavors of ice cream. Some things work for somebody, other things work another way. The critique is the same way. Some people can say this, but this person likes that, So so you have to be well-rounded. You need to know every style. You need to know everything, and the only way you can do that is by watching people who are making money off of it. Guys like I think we were just speaking about, like Kenny Omega. Guy's number one on the what is it, the PWI?
Pro Wrestling Illustrated,
yeah. He's number one, and he's been number one, I think, for a couple of years now.
This is his first year's number one.
Oh, I thought okay.
He's been up there top
okay.
3. AJ Styles had it a couple of years. Okada had it. I think Ric Flair was a 6 or 7 time guy who was at number one. But this is the first time Omega's at number one. And I got to see Omega live at the Jericho Cruise. And it was just the Jericho Cruise, and he was involved in a tag match, but the brief time he was there, seeing him live, it's like imagine you're watching a wrestling match, and you're able to fast forward to 1.5 times the speed. So quick.
Oh my God.
He's so fast and vicious with his moves. It's just incredible, but that he's safe in the ring still. I know he's been criticized in the past before, but he must have gone better with everything he's done so far.
Wrestling is real. They're what you call it, staged but real. Accidents happen. So I mean,
it hurts.
It hurts 100%.
You know it's coming, but it still hurts.
Yeah, maybe that's another piece of advice. It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe stick away from it. Give it a try, but maybe stick away from it.
If you like your body and you like having all your teeth, maybe consider something else.
But yeah, dude, you have to watch it. You have to watch everything that you can, absorb everything. And New Japan, MLW, Major League Wrestling, I think is the name, CZW. You watch everything, because like I said, the only way you get better is by getting ears about everything. You listen to everything, and you get the critiques from everybody, and that's how you become well-rounded, Because, and the reason why is because, you put someone who's a brawler, let's just say a brawler type of wrestling style, against someone who's a high flyer, well, you can't go in there how do I do my stuff with his stuff? How you have to know what to do. You have to be ready for that. And the only way you can do that is by, you research the guy, he sees high fly, but then you watch other people. It's a whole big circle about that sort of stuff. But yeah, I try to watch as much as I can when I can.
There's a tremendous amount.
Exactly.
Of
the network alone.
Out there, yeah.
The network alone has everything.
Mm-hmm.
And even with what is it? NJPW now has a network of their own.
Ring of Honor does.
Ring of Honor, Fight TV is another big one. There's in this day, I think this is the best time to be a professional wrestler because of all that stuff. I was listening to the podcast with Romano, and he was saying he pulled out wrestling DVDs and stuff like that, and now we have it at our fingertips. It's right there. Literally right now. I see you have a smart TV. If you were to put on your smart TV right now, WWE Network, it's right there for us. It's not that we need to go and look
we
at
actually have NXT going on.
So we need to it's not like we need to go to Best Buy or go to Blockbuster and go there and be like,
Blockbuster.
this is this. Oh, okay, take that. Or have to copy or burn DVDs from people. Like, it's right here. It's for everyone. Pretty cheap. Right? Why not? If you want to be a wrestler, you're going to watch. And that's just it. Like, all the content's there, and it's so hard.
I feel like the network was a little bit ahead of many other, not just wrestling promotions, but just television networks having everything on demand.
Yeah.
When W.W. Network came out, I remember it was years ago, and I had it after like I think a year of it being around. I bought it specifically to watch WrestleMania at a discounted price.
Yeah.
I was like, why not do it? I get all these pay-per-views, so I watch it, and they do have a tremendous amount of content, and a lot of other television networks are starting to adapt to that.
Yeah.
So always stay ahead of the game. Little lesson. Blockbuster. They denied Netflix. They thought that, that's never going to work. An internet streaming service, that'll never work.
Of course.
Get out of my office.
Teachers also used to tell people that they're not going to have a calculator in their pocket at all times, and what kind of happened with that?
Romano, he brought up in the interview that one of the tips that he was given was to watch wrestlers who have a similar body type as you do. So, you mentioned Samoa Joe, you mentioned Kevin Owens. You say that, you're more of a bigger size type of wrestler. I think you're a little bit smaller than that. You've definitely lost some size. But what wrestlers do you make it a point to watch? If there are any. Are there specific guys you make it a point, like, I have to see this guy's stuff?
Seth Rollins is one of them. Still Dean Ambrose. Still Samoa Joe. Still Kevin Owens. These guys I watch because I think about it. They're doing the same thing that I'm doing at one point. They were at once in a school, traveling with their trainers, getting their name out there. They understand what it feels like. These are the indie darlings. And there's times where I'm talking to people, I'm like, man, like, Daniel Bryan's another one. Man, like, for my own selfish reasons, like, I wish these guys were still here. Like, I wish I still had these people with me, But gratefully now, like, everything evolves, and like, you have guys that you can still consider like that. There's a lot of guys now in the independent scene that are making their way there and stuff like that, and like, you can talk to. But I selfishly wish like those guys were kind of still around, and just to get their feedback and like hear them, because they were traveling the world and stuff. But yeah, Rollins, Ambrose, Joe, Owens, always try to watch them whenever they're on.
What about some under the radar or guys who really haven't broken out on television or in the wrestling scene? Guys that maybe are underappreciated. Is there anyone that points out to you as people that you do love the hell out of their work on the ring and you're just waiting for them to break out, if there are any?
Like people who are like sleeping on people?
Yeah.
Oh,
like sleepers, yeah.
Great movie. I'm trying to think.
If you don't have any, that's fine.
It's just I can't think of names right away. Like, I
got
can't
you.
think of the names right away.
Uh-huh.
But like, I feel like there's a lot of people that are sleeping on people, and I can't think of it right now.
You mentioned like Pete Dunne. You really like Pete Dunne stuff?
Oh, dude, like, he's incredible. One of my favorites to watch. Also, yeah, another favorite of mine to watch. But
why Pete Dunne?
Dude's intense. Dude hits hard. He has his stuff down packed. Everything's super crisp. I mean, his look is cool. Why not Pete Dunne? Current NXT UK champion, or the United Kingdom champion. So yeah, I mean, he is what he said. He knows his stuff. He knows who he is. He's confident with everything he does. He's super crisp in the ring, and he hits hard. I like hard hitting stuff.
Are there any guys that are on television or have been on television that you as a fan and now even more as a wrestler didn't really like or couldn't really care for? You're just like, this guy's the shits.
No. I'm trying to think. Was there someone that I hated?
Yeah. Because I can't think of you like hating anyone. You're such a happy guy.
At first, when I started watching wrestling, it was around the time where like Cena and Punk were feuding, and Punk was like an ultimate heel. I couldn't stand Punk. I was so angry at Punk the whole time of that feud. And then when WrestleMania 29 came around, when he was feuding with Taker, I
Phenomenal
remember.
job with that.
Oh my god, I remember like he poured the S like, yo, this. I wish I could hit you. I was like, I'm so mad, you know. But like he was someone that like I was like, I hated as a heel, man. Like he did his job.
Wasn't that around the time Paul Bear passed away?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
But he's someone that I admire his work, you know. But as a fan beforehand, like. I was like so angry at the dude. He did his job. He did his job. So
okay.
But
you respect the hell out of him. As,
of
like,
course,
as a wrestler.
of course. Yeah. You know, you can't not respect the dude as a wrestler. I mean, but yeah, he was someone that I always hated. When he came on TV, I would try to like mute it. You know, especially like being one of those like new wrestling fans. Like I was brand new to the thing, and like I didn't know the whole spiel behind it. You know. And I just remember, like, this guy's a jerk. Like, this guy's a real jerk. And, like, why is he beating up on John Cena? Like, John Cena's an ultimate good guy. Like, why would you do this?
Fruity Pebbles, John.
Yeah. I was so pissed at The Rock for a long time, too.
Pissed at The Rock?
Because when he feuded with Cena, I'm a big Cena fan. I love Cena. So.
What do you love specifically about Cena?
Come on, dude. Really? Like, Cena's probably one of the greatest of all time.
Okay. Why?
What do you mean why? You watch Cena.
I want to know your reason why.
The dude, besides being like one of the greatest in ring performers, the dude is like
great on the mic too.
Yeah, exactly. Like John Cena's evolved so much. Like you watch some things from like OVW. I had Jake had given me like a thing to watch from OVW, and like I saw him as like I don't know if he was called John Cena. I don't remember the ring name. I knew he was the prototype at one point, and that's when he was on SmackDown at the very beginning. But like, just like John Cena is John Cena. John Cena is a spectacle, and he's the one that's making a lot of money. So like you had to like him. You have to respect John Cena at first. But like I like John Cena. I like what he stands for, and I like that he stands for that outside of the ring as well. It's not only in ring, you know. So like, and you see that like the dude goes and makes 1,001 wishes every time to those kids, you know, and like he's someone you inspire to be like, dude. Like you look at him and you're like, man, like I want to be like that guy, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's something about John Cena. I mean,
good character. Yeah.
Just he's a spectacle, dude. The guy is.
What about
amazing.
Roman Reigns?
Another spectacle.
Yeah.
Another person that the internet wrestling community doesn't like sometimes, but another guy that like.
I feel like everyone's behind him now.
Yeah, of course.
I hope he's gonna beat it. He'll beat leukemia again.
He'll do it again. But he's someone another guy making 1,001 wishes, like doing what he has to do. He's a well-rounded person. He's a good person, and he is who he says he is inside and outside the ring. Whether that be when he broke in with the Shield or when he started, like when he's now, you know. But he's another one that I think is really good, who people don't like for some weird reason. Like I don't know. Reigns knew his stuff. Reigns was great in the ring. Reigns was good on the mic, and he's a great performer. But that's I don't know. But yeah, Punk and Rock were the two that I hated as a fan's perspective. I was so mad at them because they were hitting John Cena. You don't hit John Cena. You don't hit him.
You don't hit John Cena.
He's a good man.
So you were part of a pretty captivating storyline with Darius Carter over the last year. You guys were always in each other's way. We got to that next level.
Yep.
So let's talk about storylines in the history of wrestling and the history of you as a fan and now as a wrestler. What are some storylines that you think were fantastically told on wrestling television, no matter what promotion it was part of?
Okay.
It could be a Warriors one too.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. I really liked because it was my first one that I was really involved with as a fan. Punk and Cena's, especially the build up to the Money in the Bank match that they had, where Punk left with the title. That was a really good one that they built up very nicely. Punk and Undertaker is another one that I really enjoyed. That whole story was amazing. When Rollins broke away from the Shield was another one that I thought was done really well. Recently with Gargano and Ciampa on NXT, that whole story. There's those are the three big ones that come to mind for me right now.
Mm-hmm. What bits and pieces from those stories do you think you learned a lot from, or wrestlers could learn a lot from, if anything specifically?
That, you know, wrestling fans are really smart now, like, because they know that it's fake, and they know, like, they think they know the background behind it, and that, especially with Gargano and Ciampa's, and I believe like Ambrose and Rollins at the time when he broke away, they brought realness to it. Like, they brought the realness out of it, where you knew, like, Gargano and Ciampa, like, are best friends outside of the ring, you know, and, like, the dude was at the guy's wedding, and, like, they brought it up, and, you know, commentary brought that up, and they displayed it very well. Like, they rebounded off of previous matches that they've had when they were going at it, you know. I mean, their most recent one, at one of the latest takeovers, like, there was so many callbacks from their previous matches, you know? So, like, they told their story very well, that they were good friends, they were tag team partners, they went through the ringer together, you know, those are two guys that grew up on the independents as well. They portrayed all of that, you know, and, like, I like that WWE's using, like, clips from Ring of Honor when they were there. Like, I know they did this in the video game with Daniel Bryan's story. They included a lot of the Ring of Honor clips there and, like, showed, like, his upcoming, like, I really enjoyed that stuff. When they don't make it so, like, hokey, I guess, where they're bringing the reality into things. Like, people know these things, why not, you know, use these things, you know, to better the storyline, to further it? Because if the fans think it's real, then that's the prime goal. You know, and in certain cases, maybe it is real with certain things. I don't know what's going on in NXT right now. But stuff like that, I just like how they brought the reality out of it, and that's what I want to try to do, is try to bring the reality out of things, you know? So, you know, it's stuff like that I really think that wrestlers, like, could look at and, like, pinpoint, like, this is real. Like, they're making it like it's real life, you know? It's crazy. I don't know. I just really, those things stick with me.
All right, man. Listen, we've covered a lot during this interview. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. Are there any last-minute words you want to, like, say to the fans or anything like that? Do you got anything?
Yeah. First and foremost, December 1st, I take on Warriors of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion Chris Steeler, and the headline will read Chris Steeler. Tony Booze is the new Warriors of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion at the end of that night. That's number one. I'm always going to plug Warriors of Wrestling, so please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, WOW TV Live. Go and check out some things. I'm on there a lot from the taping matches. Check those out as well. A lot of guys that you see come into the main roster are coming from the tapings. Guys like Steve Penny, like you mentioned, I think, with somebody on your previous podcast. He was in the King of New York. Guys like Everett Cross, Aaron Bradley, or people like that came from the taping. So who knows? You guys might get a head start on it. The fans might get a head start on who's to come, maybe. Check me out on all my social media. Tony Booze _42 on Instagram. The Brooklyn Bulldog Tony Booze on Facebook. And yeah, just keep your eye out on me, because I'm trying to do big things, even though I don't know if I'm going to. But I'm trying. I'm trying to. And maybe the final words is that, especially for fans and, like, people who are listening to this, like, without you guys and, like, without you guys behind me, like, I wouldn't be who I am. You guys are the reason why I keep going. And I only do this for you guys. You know, part of it's for me, but a big part of it is for you guys. And, you know, I'm just really grateful for the people who I have behind me, you know. And yeah, and another thing is, thank you for having me here, man. This was really awesome. I really enjoyed this. Like, this is sick, man.
Maybe we'll do it again.
Know? Hey, I'm always game. You have my number. So
awesome.
If you want, give me a call. Tell me you're looking to talk again, because this time it doesn't have to be about wrestling. We can do something completely different.
Hey, if you want.
But yeah, so thank you, Warrior Nation. Thank you, Warriors Wrestling. And thank you, Chris, for letting me do this. This is fun. This is pretty cool, man. I'm really happy about this. Thank you so much.
I and Dinger for 3, my sports podcast, really appreciates you coming out here. I look forward to the December 1st match and calling it as the commentator. It's always fun. Tony Booze, Anthony, yes, he's more than a guy who thinks he's cute and ugly, all right? He's more than that. Always looking for criticism. He knows his stuff. He studies his stuff. You can learn a lot from him. You can always listen to this again, since it's going to be on the internet, right? So thank you guys for watching and or listening. I'm Chris Scott. This is Anthony or
Page.
Tony Booze, Warriors of Wrestling. We will see you on December 1st.
Listen to All in Moment. Listen to All in Moment. Listen to All in Moment.
Yeah.
People are sleeping on All in Moment. Listen to All in Moment.
Anthony actually was at our Queen show at Blackthorn 51.
Yes.
We're appreciative of
It was
that.
awesome.
But that was a good time. Nice. You threw it in there. Thank you. All right, guys. We're out of here. See ya.